Welcome back, good students and the lovers of literature. This is your guy Lit, and of course, the narrator behind this particular work. And in today's episode, it is still the Samaritan. From our previous uploads, we've looked at a couple of few things here and there. An in-depth look on the summary of the same. We've looked at the themes and the thematic side as they evidently come out in the text. And now on this one here, over the previous uploads that we've done on essay, exams and questions, and of course projections and also predictions, this is going to mark our new essays. Of course, among the very many essays that will be uploaded timely. That means that if you're not a partner in this particular fraternity, how about you don't want maybe in the near future to bump into things evidently, you subscribe and you give it a thumbs up, and above all, you recommend this particular work to people, especially those that you know it will make sense. And what I mean sense means that it will be useful to them. Now, having said that, we are growing once again. We are growing. We're becoming a big family, and how I wish that you do make your cognition also to be recognized in this particular platform. You do drop us your comments in the comment section. Let us get to know what you're thinking. This is literature. We do not have our take. Ultimately, with some ultimate say. It is literature, therefore our suggestions and our ideas are only shared here on a light note. So do drop us your comments on the comment section. Of course, we'll try to do our best to get back to you of what you think, your sentiments, your thoughts, changes here and there, and queries and questions, inquiries of maybe any other thing or any other area that you wish to be looked into. So without that much further ado, let's dive into the exams and question 1. Can alliances formed purely for selfish purposes withstand the test of time? Can alliances formed purely for selfish purposes withstand the test of time? Now, making of course reference to John Lara's The Samaritan, write an essay to support this particular assertion or statement. Again, can alliances formed purely for selfish purposes withstand the test of time? Making reference to John Lara's The Samaritan, write an essay to support this particular statement. A good student, that is an exam style question, and of course our sample input or response that you're going to give it will be like a light look into, but then it also serves as a useful reference to especially looking at various aspects that come out as far as this particular question is concerned. So there are very many alliances that are formed in this particular play by John Lara. And working on the premise that you've read it, this particular work will only make sense and also maybe click working on the premise that you've read it, so that the things that I'll be narrating here, they will make that whole sense that I've just mentioned. So our nut graph, let's start with the first introductory lines there. The collaboration of individuals driven solely by selfish motives inevitably leads to failure, as depicted in John Lara's, that is, The Samaritan. So throughout the narrative, various characters unite in an attempt to safeguard their own interests, yet their efforts ultimately collapse. Mayor Morsi, a good example, and his allies convene meetings to evade prosecution after being exposed on the Samaritan. But their disagreements and personal agendas derail their plans. Similarly, alliances formed by Morsi, Bembe, and Hafista, as well as Ramdaye, Seymour, and Ted, all crumble under the weight of their self-serving intentions. Now, good student, that is an intro kind of a paragraph. Then we need also to delve deeper into the book itself and citing evidences and citations from the text in support of allegations there. Now, Mayor Morsi, to begin with, collaborates with other influential figures in the municipal administration in an effort to shield themselves from the fallout. of damaging revelations in the media. Upon discovering the exposure on the Samaritan app and in newspapers such as The Insight, which of course had a headline that the scandal as rot in the Maracas Municipal Council exposed, Morsi urgently convenes a meeting. So Morsi's refusal to launch the Samaritan app stems from his realization of its potential threat to their positions. So the primary objective of their unity is to avoid potential prosecution and conviction. Seymars proposes a negotiation with the app's posters, suggesting financial incentives to cease their activities, with Jaden's assistance if needed. Morsi emphasizes the necessity of solidarity due to their shared vulnerabilities. That is still, a coming together kind of a thing, but it fails. So Seymar advocates for financial mobilization from the municipal funds to combat impending legal challenges, proposing its allocation for various legal expenses. Although Morsi rejects these as unlawful, the meeting descends into a confrontation with accusations exchanged between Morsi, Ted, and Seymar. Remember that one? So working on the premise that you've read the text, you cite the evidence amid the police, the event when this happened. So the accusation exchanges, or the accusations, the blame game, which was exchanged between Morsi, Ted, and Seymar, it's culminating in mutual threats. Despite their efforts, they failed to hold the Samaritan app or the ensuing legal proceedings, ultimately leading to their arrest. Evidently, their self-interested collaborations yield no favorable outcomes. Morsi, on the other instance, assembled his trusted allies to strategize their response to the escalating crisis brought about by the Samaritan revelations, meeting at the Madingo Golf Club's Jungle Room. Morsi, Bembe, and Harvester, each facing numerous accusations ranging from corruption to abuse of office, join forces to evade the repercussions. Bembe faces allegations including corruption, human rights violations, and involvement with criminal gangs, while Harvester is accused of various abuses of authority. Morsi is implicated in municipal capture, where private interests dictate public policy, among other offenses. Their motivations for unity are multifaceted: saving Bembe's land from repossession, preventing Morsi's removal via a vote of no confidence, and of course avoiding retribution post-Samaritan exposure. Their proposed solutions include orchestrating press conferences to maintain the facade of a factional municipal council, prioritizing the quashing of the vote of no confidence against Morsi. In other words, most just simply put, or plainly put, is they come up with ways, mechanisms, strategies to evade their shame. Otherwise, they'll be exposed by the Samaritan. That is previously said that the retribution of the post-Samaritan exposure. And tactics, of course, range from arresting motion sponsors to mobilizing Morsi's political base, and even funding disruptive activities by criminal gangs and undercover police. They also discuss strategies to address the Samaritan. Remember, that is, a come together. A come together to make sure that they stay in office. So, but finally, by the end of these particular alliances, that is what I just referred to as a come together there. Good students, they fail. So, in their, come together, little kind of a come together, they also discuss, right there, the second line, is like continuous. So they also discuss strategies to address the Samaritan situation, including coercing, that's like forcefully forcing or blackmailing individuals involved. However, their efforts prove fruitless, like literally. They fail to halt the Samaritan app or the legal proceedings against them. Nicole's case, remember who Nicole is? Good. Now you get. So Nicole's case is dismissed. Bembe faces embarrassment and summons from his superiors, and the vote with no confidence remains a looming threat. Despite their unity driven by selfish motives, Their actions lead to their eventual arrest. These, therefore, good students, underscores the futility of uniting solely for self-serving ends. That's our refrain right there. Just try to wind up what we've been discussing. Into that other paragraph, Honorable Ramdae, Seymour and Ted convened to rally the entire municipal council in support of a no confidence motion against Mayor Mosi. That is also another come together. It is like familiar kind of, betrayal. These people, they work together, they are in the same, council. But like now, this time around, a vote of no confidence is convened by these two gentlemen here, Ramdae, Seymour, and the three and 10. They are coming together to, advocate or to push for a vote of no confidence, but against who? Against Mayor Mosi. So, did it go through? Let's see. Ramdae also collaborates with Basdeo in their pursuit, driven by personal agendas and the desire to evade prosecution post-exposure on the Samaritan. Now, meeting at the Madinga Golf Club's Sky Room, Seymour and Ted, accused of fraudulent activities related to municipal funds, they discuss strategies to combat impeding legal action. Seymour proposes reallocating budget items to fund legal expenses, while Ted suggests utilizing municipal funds for legal support. Disagreements ensue with Mosi, who accuses them of misallocation of funds and questionable actions. Seymour and Mosi exchange accusations, with Seymour demanding Mosi's approval of a supplementary budget or his removal from office. So that kind of a little come together fails terribly right there. And to our next slide. Their meeting, therefore, focuses on advancing the no confidence motion, with the TED tasked with garnering support from council members and eldermen. Basdeo, remember who Basdeo is? Good students. And if you don't go back to your notes, because previously I said that. Okay, on a light note, I'm working on the previous that you read this particular text, unless you want us to do character kind of analysis. So Basdeo expresses interest in forming a coalition with the trio, that is Ted, Seymour, and Ramdae, the trio, conditional on Seymour's appointment as mayor and Basdeo as deputy mayor. So despite their efforts, they encounter minimal support during that canvassing, making the outcome uncertain. Their plan to rally fails to materialize, and they are unable to hold this person up. So ultimately, they are arrested by Tajo, head of the Anti-Corruption Investigations Bureau, underscoring good students, our refrain right there, underscoring the failure of their self-serving alliance. This episode therefore illustrates the inevitable failure of uniting for selfish reasons. Mosi and Bembe align with Jaden in a bid to counter Ramdae and his allies' attempts to oust Mosi from office. Of course, this has to be another come together. Remember who Mosi and Bembe align with Jaden, who they are, and why are they coming up to this little come together cocoon, attempting to out or to make sure that Mosi is out of office. But of course, their collaboration proves fruitless. Mosi employs tactics to thwart. Whichever way you pronounce that word, it almost got me off guard. That, good students, that has to be thwart the conspirators, including dispatching Red Eagle Network members to disrupt their meetings and rallies. On a light note, with the involvement of the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau, Mosi seeks Jaden's collaboration to leverage the grain scandal for their benefit. So Mosi urges Jaden to expedite legal proceedings, good students, against Ramdae's fiction to derail the removal plan swiftly. So what happens? Bembe, who is behind this, emphasizes that the judiciary's significance in addressing the Samaritan issue and offers inducements to Jaden. Despite Jaden's initial reluctance, Mosi and Bembe coerce him into collaboration by exploiting his involvement in the Prime Orchid Farm scandal. So they're using that one as a scapegoat, no, as a, as an excuse. If it doesn't confine or it doesn't conform to their, request or their allegations or their what they want Bembe to do, what they want Jayden to do, then they will, bring into or involve the Prime Orchard Farm scandal, which is of course an implication. So it would have implied or implicated Jayden in this case. So Mosi threatens to have Bembe arrest the farm owners, implicating Jayden. I've already said that. And his mistress as shareholders. Mosi and Bembe conditionally offer leniency to Jayden, demanding convictions for Amdayo, Masdeo, Ted, and Sema in exchange for their cooperation. So their motives are driven solely by self-preservation and the avoidance of conviction. Finally, into our last slide. This is the last of this series, and hope you're making everything useful. Justice Jayden arranges a meeting with Harvester motivated by his personal interest, but ultimately he fails in his endeavors amidst the turmoil caused by the Samaritan. Jayden feels the heat of impending trouble. Moses' directive to the municipal council to pursue legal action against several individuals, including Bandai, Sema, Ted, and Masdeo, adds to Jayden's dilemma as he finds himself entangled in the case due to his biased ruling and acceptance of shares from a company embroiled in a lawsuit. He is also implicated, so he's not a straightforward guy, like he has got issues. In a bid to find a resolution, Jayden proposes an alternative dispute resolution, suggesting that Mosi, Masdeo, and others set aside their differences to address the Samaritan collectively, which is the big elephant in the house. Otherwise, Samaritan would expose their rot in these Maracas municipality. However, at the meeting convened by Jayden, the leaders failed to reach a consensus, with each offering selfish responses to the challenges that they face. Now, despite brainstorming various solutions such as invoking double jeopardy or temporarily halting the use of the Samaritan app, their efforts prove futile. Even an attempt to offer Nicole a powerful position in the municipality fails when she refuses advocating instead for a change in attitude among the leaders and the populace. So their plan collapses when the anti-corruption chief arrives and they are apprehended and taken to the anti-corruption headquarters for questioning. This episode therefore underscores the futility of uniting for selfish reasons, as their actions ultimately lead to their downfall. In conclusion, despite their efforts, these coming together kind of baboons, the self-serving leaders fail terribly, facing the consequences of their actions. Good learners and the lovers of literature, that marks the end of a good, nice episode. Hope you find it useful, and in case this has made something in line with your endeavor, click. How about sharing it with other people out there, the ones that you know that this work will be of ultimate use, with your ultimate significance. And by doing so means that you are promoting this particular work in one or the other, even as you're growing into a bigger family. I would want to echo or to finalize with this particular refrain. The love of literature is the love of life. Stay tuned. Adios until next time. Okay. Welcome back, good students and the lovers of literature. This is Yoga Lit, and of course the narrator behind this particular work. And in today's